This video is being recorded during the WGA and SAG strike. I am in support of all writers and actors asking for fair pay. These TV shows would not be possible without their hard work. A way to donate to their cause is in the description. Hello everyone, welcome back to Flying Solo with Kat, and today we're going to be talking about episode 5 and what the hell is going on in Ahsoka. There's a lot to talk about today, and there's many things I want to bring to light. If you already saw from the thumbnail and also the title of this video, I have many thoughts about those things. So sit down, relax, and let's get into it. So first I'm gonna start out with Sabine and Ahsoka, our two main characters of this show, and man, there were a lot of things that they did. But I first want to start out with both of them and their relationship and how that really starts to fray at the beginning of the episode. We see Sabine and Hu Yang trying to finish up the ship to try to get it to run so they can get back to Hera. And Ahsoka's very uneased about a lot of what is to happen, and she feels very uneasy of Morgan Elizabeth's plan and Baylan and Shin and also Sabine. Is she ready for this challenge? Ahsoka tells Sabine if maybe no one should find Ezra. Maybe no one should find Thrawn. Basically saying, we want to stop our enemies from finding Thrawn, correct? Well, to do that, we wouldn't be able to see Ezra, which was always going to be the end game kind of the show if we're not going to get to Thrawn. Now, of course, you already know we're going to get to Thrawn, so we're going to see Ezra. But Sabine doesn't know that. She wants to, of course, stop Baylan and Morgan and from Thrawn coming back, but she wants to see Ezra again. But the only way to do that is to have Morgan's plan unfold and have Thrawn return. So Ahsoka saying no one should find Ezra, puts Sabine immediately on guard. She immediately says, well, it was almost, she doesn't say it, but it's very prevalent that she already blames Ahsoka for Ezra's disappearance because she should have been there, but she wasn't. And we saw that in the first episode and even the second episode. But for Sabine and her relationship with Ahsoka, she starts to doubt her master. Sabine starts to doubt Ahsoka because the whole reason of this journey is because she wanted to find Ezra, but now Ahsoka is going back on that, saying she just wants to destroy the map before they can even think about getting to Thrawn, which was the end game anyway, but I guess Sabine kind of had a different idea about that. So that in the point is where their relationship truly does start to fray and leads into the later parts in the episode and why Sabine and Ahsoka chose the decisions that they did. So I just find that really interesting. I love both of their characters. I think they're so well together. After these 5 episodes, I'm really surprised of how much I'm liking Ahsoka and Sabine's chemistry and how it really does feel like a master and apprentice relationship. I really did not think it was going to be like that or it was going to go there, but I'm delightfully surprised of how well they work off of each other. So very interesting just in the first 5 to 7 minutes of the episode that we get. Next, I want to jump a bit from Sabine and Ahsoka and talk about just Hera leaving the New Republic. I think that's really important to the New Republic stopped her from going, right? So she takes the Ghost, takes Jason, takes Chopper, and goes with a couple other fighters and sets out for Ahsoka. And I find that very interesting, and how now, of course, this was just meant to be kind of like banter about how one of her fellow generals, they had a meeting and he was like, well, you can't leave. And Hera was like, watch me. And it's like, it's interesting to kind of look at the New Republic and see what was their crackdown on military and being able to do like whatever they wanted and not to fall into the Empire. Because the Empire's military was masterful, right? And it had a very strict code. But how much of the New Republic do they really stop from doing? I mean, it's all, quote unquote, good guys, right? So you wouldn't go against orders, but that's what Hera did. So I did find that line interesting of just almost wondering of how much of a crackdown does the rebels that were before the New Republic, how much they kind of had to go back to being uniformed into this military compared to what they did to fight against the Empire. And I did find that a bit interesting. I'm looking way too into that little piece of dialogue because it was meant for like, haha, she's like, she doesn't care. But I really find that interesting with the New Republic and how that works. But I loved that she had a backup squad of fighters and X-Wing fighters, and the Ghost and Jason. I'm so happy to see Jason again. I mean, I don't know why I'm like loving Jason now. I think it's the design, because Jason freaked me out when we saw him at the end of Rebels. I was like, who the hell is that? Get him away from me. Disgusting. Like, no hate to like the character, artist on Rebels, but oh my god, he did not look great. So I really like him in this show, and he's so cute, and like just want to give him a little hug. I love how him and Chopper have such a brother relationship, and I really find that sweet that Chopper's almost kind of taking on that father relationship that Kanan would have had to kind of support Hera, but also be a menace to Hera as well. He's definitely still her kid, but I love how Chopper looks out for Jason, and I think that was needed. And also, I don't know if many people saw this, but there was a photo of Kanan in the Ghost. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Like, my god, that was so sweet. And someone said it was actually from the novel A New Dawn, that they had one of the art pieces in that book, and it was actually the same photo from that book in there. So that was a really, really sweet addition, and just made the Ghost more homely and made it seem like Hera's ghost, right? And I really, really liked that. So I found that very interesting. It was we didn't see much of her when of course, I left, and she knew that either she was never going to see Sabine, Ahsoka, or Ezra ever again, and she had no contact with them. You could see, like, the heartbreak in her eyes and how scared and unsure of the future that she is. And I found that very, very interesting. I think a lot of people missed of just, I think she's really going to lose it next episode or the episode after that. If we do see her, I think she is going to go back to the New Republic and demand they do something. And I think the New Republic's going to turn around and say, nope, sorry, we don't care. It's gone now. We can't do anything. And I think Hera is going to lose it and maybe leave the New Republic for a bit. I would love to see that. I don't think we're going to have time, just considering so much happened that is more important. I love my space mom, but more important than Hera for the next episode. So I'm not surprised if we don't see that, but I would love to see it. So very, very interesting. Morgan Elizabeth with the eye and, traveling and everything. I find it really interesting. I want to know so much more about her. I got to look on Wikipedia to kind of read up on her. Just her having Night Sister magic is really, really cool, and I feel like is not touched on or not brought up enough in the community. That's like crazy. We haven't really seen many Night Sisters, and we haven't seen any Night Sisters in live action at all. No. Yeah, no, not at all. And we've been getting them more with, Jedi Fallen Order and Marin, and we, of course, got some amazing stories in Clone Wars more developed on, but it's still a group that is not fully fleshed out, and I feel like Dave has a plan for them, and I'm very, very interested to see where that goes. I don't know if it will be as big as they were in the Clone Wars, but it'd be interesting if they had ties to Palpatine as well and had ties to the Sith and Exegol. So that's just my little theory, going out there. But I feel like Morgan Elizabeth has so much to offer, and I feel like she's gonna have a bigger role with Thrawn. I feel like she might be sent out to go do something with Palpatine or even Snoke, or go find Snoke and bring him to the First Order. Something with that. I do think she has more of a role in that purpose, but until then we don't really know what her true goal is. It's to find Thrawn, but after that, what, right? So love her. Amazing. Yeah, let's just talk about my new obsession. Shin Hati and Sabine Wolfren. Oh my lord. Like, okay. There was definitely, I'm going to get into shipping stuff, so if you're not into that type of stuff, I would skip a couple minutes, but I'm just going to talk about this ship really, really quick that is like swept the community. Oh my gosh. Lesbians. Oh my god. Shin Hati and Sabine have so much sexual tension. I'm sorry if you cannot see that. I'm a huge lover of enemies to lovers, or just two characters hating each other. I'm, of course, a Kylixer, but Wolfren is my new obsession, and I love them. And oh my god, I just want them to kiss. So their lightsaber battle was very, very good. I found it very entertaining. I actually enjoyed it more than the Ahsoka and Marok fight, which was kind of sad. I did like Ahsoka and Marok. I'll get to them in a bit. But Sabine and Shin just have such this interesting chemistry. And they're like two sides of a coin, right? They're both apprentices to their masters, and one is light, one is dark, and they're both trying to learn. Of course, Shin has more control with the Force, but even when she tells Sabine, you have no power, which, oh my god, was really hot, Sabine takes her Mandalorian gauntlet and, like, shoots her in the face. Like, that, she has so much power, even without the Force, and I think with Shin Hati, I think she doesn't realize that power can come from anywhere and not just in the Force, because she hasn't been taught any differently. And I want Sabine to show her that you can be powerful in the way you speak, in the way you hold yourself, in any way without the Force. And I think that's really, really interesting and makes the relationship way more interesting. And yeah, I love them. I don't know if they will be canon, but Dave, you gotta set something up. Like, come on. Like, just do a solid one for the gays, please. Just putting it out there. That's all we ask. We're not asking for anything else. Like, just please do it. So that's all I'll talk about for shipping. I do want to talk about Ahsoka and Marok. Marok, I guess, was a Night Sister magic clone, which kind of makes all of us who were theorizing a whole bunch of people look really, really stupid. And I bet Dave Filoni was just laughing in his office the entire time, thinking these people are absolute idiots. And it's maybe one of the best jokes that the fandom has had in a bit, because I was even posting on my Twitter that Marok is Hux, and that we're gonna see, when he's unmasked, we're gonna see General Hux, and everyone really liked that. It was really funny. And a lot of the other theories were just, is it Maul 3.0, or, oh, it's actually C-3PO, or, oh, Lando, or Han. It was really, really funny. So he was nothing, though. He was just Night Sister magic, so nothing interesting. But that's okay, and I'm just kind of sad he's dead, but happy to know that it wasn't like this huge revelation. I do think that was a great choice by Dave Filoni, because that would have taken away from everything that happened later in the episode, which I'm going to get into right now. So, Ahsoka dies. Like, is she dead? That's, like, my big question right now. Is she just in the world between worlds, or is she... blah? Is she dead? I mean, that cliff was, like, a high fall. I don't, unless something saves her or Hera stumbles upon her. Honestly, okay, this is gonna get clipped out of context. I kind of want her to be dead. Don't come for me. We already know she's dead by the time of the Rise of Skywalker, right? Because we hear her voice. And I think that... I don't know. I just think it would be not as good to have her come back, but I have more thoughts on that. But with Ahsoka, she fought Balin, which was a very, very good fight. And she wakes up in the world between worlds, unharmed. And then we see the amazing, the wonderful Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, looking at Ahsoka, and they make eye contact. It is some of the most heartwarming Star Wars that I think I've ever watched in my life. I knew I was going to cry, but I didn't think it was going to hit me that hard, surprisingly. It didn't hit me in Obi-Wan Kenobi. It made me smile and made me laugh in Obi-Wan Kenobi. But with this one, I think with how much pain Ahsoka had been going through because of Anakin and how lonely she felt really, really hit me and really sunk in when she finally saw Anakin again. And for her to almost reconcile with him. Now, we haven't seen them talk yet. It was just a very brief introduction. But I found that I was crying. I mean, me, I'm very emotional. But it was some of the best Star Wars I've seen in a bit. Now, people always on the app, they get mad saying you can't say it's the best episode when it's, you're doing it for fan service and, all of that. And I will not talk about the elephant in the room Star Wars theory too much on this channel because I don't want to give him any more support. But it does kind of show, for him, he said that it saved Star Wars. And I don't believe that. I think the show was already solid. You already know my thoughts on the last 4 episodes. I've been really, really enjoying it. Is it nice to see him? Absolutely. But do I think it made the episode? I would say yes. But at the same time, if he didn't show up, I still would have loved the episode. And people outside of the fandom always get mad at us for loving to see Hayden Christensen or loving seeing another character come back because they're like, oh, you're just liking it for fan service. You're trying to relive the prequels. You're trying to relive the OT. When that's really not it. It's completely for a different reason, and it's heartwarming to see Ahsoka reunited with her master. And I think people are taking away from the total of the story. And he came back for a legitimate reason. In my predictions for Ahsoka 5 or 6 episodes ago, I talked about how I wouldn't mind seeing Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, but they had to do it in a respectful way, and they had to do it purposeful to her story. And I truly think that Dave did that. And I truly think that he was there for a legitimate reason. Now I will get into theories, my little theories, or not even theories, because this has been almost proven, but I do have a counter argument. So, Anakin is standing there with Darth Vader's lightsaber. Now, I have my counter argument. Anakin wouldn't have his blue one, right? Because Obi-Wan took it. It makes sense. And at this timeline, Maz would have it because then Luke lost it on Bespin. So Maz would either have it or, she would have still yet to find it, but would be finding it soon. So, of course, Anakin would have Darth Vader's lightsaber because it's the one that he died with, right? What I don't like, and what made me thumbnail this video the way it was, is the Imperial March at the end. I don't like that. That was like, I was like crying, but I was like, I don't like how they added that at the end. I should be hearing Anakin's theme and making me bawl even harder. Like, Anakin's theme would make me feel like, oh my god, he's back. And, it made me feel like the joys of the prequels, but the Imperial March and Darth Vader's theme made me feel dread and almost, oh god, what's going to happen next episode? Does that mean it's an intro to Thrawn, or does that mean that Anakin is actually Darth Vader posing as Anakin, and it's actually the dark side manifestation of the Force? Like, there was no reason they had to add. If it was just him with Darth Vader's lightsaber, as I said, I could argue that point. But when you add the Imperial March at the end, it's a lot harder to argue, and I don't know if I can actually argue that, because it scared me. I was like, why are they playing the Imperial March? Why am I dreading next episode? Why do I not think that is Anakin Skywalker? Of course, I won't know till Tuesday. But that's my thought on how that all went down. Other than that, it was so great seeing him back. A lot of people were being pissed off about the CGI. Guys, it's like Hayden Christensen there. They used very minimal touch-up on his face. Like, I swear if he, in real life, put on the wig and did the whole scar and put on the outfit, it would look like Anakin, just a tiny bit older. And it wasn't like hard CGI. Like, someone was comparing it to the Luke CGI in Mando and the Leia CGI in Rogue One. Let me just stop you right there. Those are two actors. That one actor has passed on. I love you, Carrie. And the other actor is a lot older and played himself in the sequels. But to do younger, they did have to do motion capture and CGI. Hayden Christensen was there. He played his younger self, and he is still at that age to where he still looks like he did in Revenge of the Sith. So I don't think that's fair I think it's a complete disservice to Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill and Hayden Christensen for comparing the three of them together in their quote-unquote cameos in these shows and in these movies. So don't compare that. There's definitely a fine line of complete difference. So I found that very odd that those two were getting compared, and also old Luke and old Lando getting compared with young Luke and Anakin's return in these TV shows, and how Dave Filoni did it way better than Rian Johnson or J.J. Abrams. And my argument to that would be, you just want to see your favorite character at the time of when you liked them. The whole reason why I love old Luke is because he is not the flyboy idiot that we see. Although that's Han. He's not the Jedi idiot that we see in OT. Granted, Return of the Jedi, because Return of the Jedi Luke is the best Luke characterization in my opinion. But in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, I do not like Luke Skywalker. I will go on record for saying that, besides Return of the Jedi Luke. I just feel like he's kind of an idiot, and he's dumb, and he's very the male version of like a Mary Sue. And besides Empire, because then he does train. But even then, I don't like him. And the whole reason I liked him in the sequels is because he felt a lot more fleshed out, and he felt like there were a lot more stakes to him as a character. He was burdened with his past and what he did to Ben Solo, and how he refused to train Rey. and was scared and then fought off the entire First Order to help the Resistance and to continue on the new version of Jedi, what he always should have been doing. So comparing like that was just really, really odd, and I did not really care for that, but it's the internet, so what are you gonna do? Speaking of the internet, I am done talking about this episode, but I wanted to bring to light some of the theories that I found on the Bird app. It's not called the Bird app anymore, but you know. And some of these are absolutely amazing, and I screenshotted them because I wanted to feature them in the episode. So from the negotiator, Omar, says, it surprises me that people still don't know Ahsoka was shown after her Vader battle in Twilight of the Apprentice. Just a glimpse, but showing that even back then she never died. She always was pulled into the world between worlds and returned, a closed loop, a past not changed, but chained. Very, very interesting, and I loved this point. It's why one of the reasons I screenshotted it. Is Ahsoka stuck in a loop between the world between worlds? Does she always have to end up in the world between worlds and then somehow get back? And I had a conversation with someone about this, saying, well, the only reason she returned was because of Ezra and his connection to Lothal and the Loth wolves. And that was the reason why she came out. So will Anakin help her in getting out of the world between worlds? I just found that really interesting. She's been to the world between worlds before, and this is her second time, and will she come back as white hooded Ahsoka with the staff? Very, very interesting stuff. Another tweet by Angie, which I found out that it was, I don't want to alarm anyone, but that is Vader's saber, not Anakin's. And they made the point about the Imperial March and actually put amazing high-res photos of both Anakin and Vader's lightsabers. So thank you so much, Angie. I really appreciate it. Another tweet from Nude Gunray. During the final battle of Filoni's Mandoverse movie, Zeb will officiate Shin and Sabine's wedding in the exact same style as Barassa marrying Will and Elizabeth in the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Effing screenshot this. And I did, because I want to go on record back on my ship stuff. Oh my god, that needs to happen. And if it doesn't, Dave Filoni, I am absolutely coming for you, and you will never, ever be safe. The last tweet I want to highlight is from Darth Thunder. If I'm being logical here, I think this is Anakin, but he is a Mortis type god now, who is now keeping everything in balance, as the Chosen One was intended to. This is maybe the best theory that I've seen, and could be almost like 80% sure might be where Filoni is taking it. Because if we remember the Mortis gods, correct, and how they were trying to get Anakin because he was the Chosen One, and trying to get him to come onto their side to create balance with the Force. Now, of course, that never happened and they escaped. But the Mortis gods, or at least the light side of the Mortis god, follows Ahsoka as an owl, right? So is Anakin now a new Mortis god and is directing people in the world between worlds? I really don't know how to explain it, but it makes the most sense. And I find that very, very interesting. Will Ahsoka be the new light side Mortis god? Anakin will be the middle, light and dark, and somebody else will be the dark side. Now, I don't know who that would be. Kylo Ren. Probably not. But it's possible. I just thought that was like a really, really good theory that honestly makes a lot of sense. And I'd love to see more of the Mortis gods and what they have to do with Star Wars, because they're very significant. And we've even seen them show up in Andor. We've seen them show up in Rebels. We've seen them show up in Clone Wars. We've seen them show up all over Star Wars. And they are truly the gods of the Force. There are gods in Star Wars. And I find it interesting. And I think that theory right there might actually be where it's at. So that was all I had for the tweets, though. Let me know if you guys like me reading tweets, because I'll compile a couple tweets that I really, really like at the end of each episode for these TV show reviews and read some of them, because some of them are actually really funny and amazing and really bring light and help make these videos possible for wanting to know what the hell I'm talking about. It took me 2 rewatches of this episode of Ahsoka to put together my thoughts, and even then I feel like there's more I could talk about these characters, but we're already into the 30-minute mark, so I will stop talking for now and leave you all with these amazing theories and thoughts. Let me know if you're liking Ahsoka, and also how it feels to see Hayden Christensen back as Anakin, because man, it was really great for me, and I'm so happy to have him back for right now, but who knows. Thank you all so much for the support recently. I hope these videos are to your liking. I love making them. I love watching the show. I'm not doing it to force myself and then write these reviews. I really am enjoying Ahsoka and enjoying Star Wars at the moment. And it's amazing. And this community is amazing. Thank you all for listening. And I will see you in the next one.